Hi, welcome to Radiant PT. I'm Caitlin Sue, a doctor of physical therapy specializing in pelvic health, pregnancy, and childbirth. This is the final video in our 4-part cyclical movement series, and it is my personal favorite. Today we have a full-length follow-along movement session for your luteal phase. From about cycle day 15 following ovulation, all the way until cycle day 28, the last day before you get your period, estrogen is finally low and progesterone starts to take over. You'll start running hotter and intense exercise is gonna start feeling more difficult. We typically experience lower energy and motivation as we near the end of our cycle. Luckily, this type of workout doesn't require the same level of energy. It's intense in a totally different way. You won't get as sweaty and breathless as we did last week. We're going to be isolating just one muscle group at a time. You may really be sore after this workout, so I recommend taking at least 2 days of active recovery before you go and pick up your weights again. Today, I've got my mat set up as well as a bench, but you can use a couch or any sturdy piece of furniture. And I've got my 15 and 8-pound dumbbells, which I've been using for all of the workouts. For this workout, you might even want a lighter set of dumbbells, or you might find yourself dropping the weights altogether at points in time. The goal is here that we're really trying not to slow down or to need any rest between each rep. The goal here is to pretty much keep that muscle under constant tension rather than worrying about using a heavy weight. So for this workout today, I'd rather that you drop the weight as needed so you can continue to try to match my pace. If you're ready, let's go ahead and warm up and we'll dive in. Okay, so we're gonna start with the same warm-up we've been doing, going between a squat and a hinge. So dropping the hips down into a squat, and then sitting the hips back into a hinge. Squat's gonna be more knee and quad dominant, hips gonna be more glute and hamstring dominant. Sitting down to the squat, and reaching back to the hinge. Down in the squat, back into the hinge. So just warming up both movement patterns, waking up all those muscles in your legs. Hinge and squat. And hinge and squat. Last one, hinge. Okay, now we're gonna go into the high knee with the chest opener. So reaching the arms forward, keeping the feet narrow. We're gonna pull up one knee using the core, draw the shoulder blades back, pinching those shoulder blades together at the top of the movement so you're really opening up the chest, and using your core to balance. So we're not doing a lot of side to side shifting here. We're exhaling and engaging that core to stay nice and tall and nice and stable. Pull, 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 squeezing those shoulder blades back behind us, warming up the back, the core, the hip flexors. Couple more. Three, two, and one. For our final move, we're gonna go ahead and bring it to the back of the mat, and we're gonna go to our walkouts with our low lunge. So soft knees, long spine. We're gonna walk out to a plank, minimizing side to side shifting. Step 1 foot forward, and we're gonna tuck the tailbone, come into a big low lunge, opening up the front of the body. Step back out to your plank and walk it all the way up to stand. And again, walking out, find your plank, strong core, step the other leg forward, tuck the tailbone, big stretch for the front of the body, back to the plank, and walk it all the way back. We're gonna do 2 more on each side, walking out and into that lunge, big stretch, back to the plank, nice and stable as we walk back up, and walking it out again to that plank, strong core, step it forward, big stretch, sweep the arms up, back to the plank, walk it back, 2 more. We are walking it out to that strong plank, step the foot forward, tuck the tailbone, big stretch, back to the plank, walk it back, last one, walk it out, Pause in your plank. Big stretch in your lunge. Step it back and walking it all the way back. Okay, so for our first superset today, we are going to start with targeting the quads. All right, so we're really gonna burn out the quads with 2 exercises. The first one is going to be a suitcase squat. And for this exercise, I'm gonna use my 2 heavier dumbbells. We're gonna keep a pretty narrow stance because we need room for the dumbbells to be on the side of our legs. So narrow stance, arms at our sides, feet parallel, and we're going to sit back into a squat. This is gonna be a little more quad dominant because of the narrow stance. So don't be afraid to let your knees come forward and find a little stretch in your ankles. Our second exercise is going to be a kneeling knee extension. So starting on a high kneeling position, we're going to keep the torso really upright here. So unlike a thrust where we hinge forward, we're going to stay upright and sit back to the feet, keeping the chest really upright. So we're almost leaning back, and you're again going to feel this all in the quads. We don't have a lot of rest here. It's 30 minutes one, 30 minutes the other, and then 30 minutes to rest. So get ready to go into those suitcase squats first, and then be ready to jump right into the kneeling extensions. So I'm gonna grab my dumbbells in 3, 2, and 1. Narrow stance and squat it down. The key here is constant tension on the muscles. So I'm not really locking myself out or pausing for a long time at the top. I'm just dropping right down into the next rep. Continuously moving, continuously keeping tension on my quads. Pretty quick pace. Try to match mine if you can, and always feel free to just drop the weight so you can keep going. In 3, 2, 1, lose those weights, come down to your knees, and we're going right into the kneeling extensions. So staying up nice and tall, dropping down and up, down and up. Working those quads, almost like you're slightly leaning back. Really targeting quads. You're gonna feel it in the front of the thighs. Should feel a good burn. 10 seconds to go, and then we get our 30 seconds of rest. In 3, 2, and 1. Shake it out. You should be feeling those quads. This is intense. This set might get you a little more breathless than some of the others just because we're working such big muscles. You don't have a lot of time to rest. We really want to burn out this muscle group. So halfway through our rest already, find yourself, grab those weights, get ready, narrow stance. We're going in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Let's do it. Dropping down into that suitcase squat. Again, kind of pushing your knees so that you feel that stretch in your ankles, and you're staying pretty upright for this. Halfway through, not fully locking out at the top, you're just dropping right back into that next rep. In 3, 2, 1, we're dropping the weights down to the knees, chest upright, we're going right into those kneeling extensions. So down to the heels and back up, working on those quads. If you are starting to get tired, you can add a little more of a forward lean. That's the way that you're gonna modify this so you can keep the tension and keep the pace. But if you're able to keep that upright posture, keep it going. 10 seconds left. In 3, 2, 1. All right, rest, 30 seconds, and then we're going for this one more time. But once we're done, guys, we are done with quads. All right, so one last set is all you gotta get through. Take a second to catch your breath. Don't worry, we'll have plenty of time to rest after this last round. Grab those weights, narrow stance. Last set, let's do it. Dropping down and up. Nice, quick, but controlled pace. Keep that tension on your quads. Keep burning. 1, down to the knees, drop the weights, popping down and up. Going into those extensions. Keep the tension on the quad again, not resting at the bottom, not resting at the top, just moving to the next rep as quickly as you can. We're halfway through. I know we're feeling the burn. Feel free to lean a little more forward if you need to, but try not to stop. We've got 3, 2, and 1. Shake it out. All right, we have a little bit of a break here, so grab some water. Towel off if you need to. Like I said, that's probably the most breathless that we're gonna get during this whole workout. The next compound set's gonna be for the shoulders. So we're gonna start with a 90-degree dumbbell press. All right, so we're gonna be holding the arms up at 90 degrees, and then we're going to be pressing all the way up overhead from there. All right, keeping that tension because we're never coming all the way down. Now, if that is too much, you're gonna just alternate sides. So one side is still working, but it gets a little bit of a rest versus doing both sides at the same time. You can pick your poison on that one. The second exercise is going to be a kneeling body saw. So for this version, we're gonna come down onto our knees, and we're actually gonna place our forearms all the way down on the mat. Just moving my dumbbells out of the way. Okay, so coming down onto my knees, putting my forearms down onto the mat, and we're basically gonna be shifting our weight all the way forward. So we're going into a low plank and then pressing the hips back, forward and back. As you can see, what's happening in my shoulder is the most important thing here. So as I shift forward, my shoulder's going past my elbow, and vice versa. Now, if this is too easy, you can come all the way up to a full plank, but trust me, that one is killer. So I recommend starting with the kneeling version, and you can always increase to the plank if you need an extra challenge. All right, so starting again with that 90-degree press. Again, 30 seconds for each exercise before we get a rest. So we're going constant tension on those shoulders. Go ahead and find your stance. We're gonna bring those dumbbells up to 90 degrees because here we go. Let's do it. Dumbbells up, press and lower. Constant tension. Never dropping the arms all the way down, not resting long at the top, just keep moving. And in 3, 2, 1, we're coming all the way down onto our knees. Oop, I had one more in there. Down onto your knees, forearms on the mat. We're shifting all the way forward and back in that body saw. Again, quick pace, not a lot of rest, just keep moving. Shift those shoulders past your elbows, finding that stretch and that burn. 5 seconds to go and we get a little rest. 3, 2, 1. All right, shake it out. Not a whole ton of rest. Second and third round are gonna be a little bit harder because our muscles are already fatigued. They're already burning. These are compound sets. There are a lot of metabolic stress on the muscle. Okay, we got 5 seconds to go. Grab the dumbbells, find your stance, bring those dumbbells up, and let's do this. Press and lower. Again, a pretty quick pace. I am not using my heavy dumbbells for this one. And I'm starting to alternate because I am getting very tired. My muscles feel like they are going to fail. I've got 5 seconds left before we go to that body saw. And drop those weights down to our knees. And coming right into that body saw, forward and back, using the shoulders to drive that forward and backward movement. Constant tension. Keep it up. And 3, 2, 1. Shake it out. Whew, it's burning. It's feeling tight. We're feeling a little bit of a pump. We have one more round for shoulders and then we're done with them. So take your 20 seconds to rest, shake those arms out. Should be feeling a very isolated burn. And for that final round, again, I'm gonna grab my dumbbells. We've got 3, 2, dumbbells up, let's go. This time I'm going right into alternating. It's most important that you keep it going and you keep it going with good form. So take the modification, lighten up the weight, drop the weight if you need to, but try not to stop. We've got 15 seconds left. Keep moving. I'm making some crazy faces. This is burning. 5 more seconds. And go ahead and come down to the mat, right into that body saw. Pushing forward and back, driving with the arms, driving with the shoulders. Keep your belly lifted up and in. Really good athletic form here. Halfway through. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All right, shake it out. Shoulders are done. Grab some water, towel off. We're going back to the lower body, giving our arms a break. This time, our next target is going to be hamstrings. So I'm just gonna kind of reorganize my space here. And we're gonna be starting this set off with a kickstand deadlift and a hamstring walkout. So for the kickstand deadlift, I'm gonna use one of my heavier weights. I'm gonna put all the weight on my left leg and my right toe is just down for balance, just in a comfortable spot where I can keep the knee slightly bent and balanced. I'm gonna start to hinge the hips back, my back stays flat, and then I'm gonna squeeze the hips forward. I'm keeping my left knee soft, just going until I feel a hamstring stretch, and really trying to keep my hips pointed forward so I'm not rotating at all. All right, same thing on the other side, all the weight's on the right side, and I'm really keeping my hips square, and I'm sitting back until I feel that hamstring stretch, using my glutes to squeeze up. Back stays flat, abs engage the whole time to protect your back. For the second exercise, we've got a hamstring walkout. So for this, we're gonna be on a bench or couch. I'm on my elbows and I'm gonna start with my feet right under my knees. I'm gonna walk out and in, out and in. So when we go out, the hamstring has to work a little harder, and I'm just alternating which side I walk out with. This is level 1. If you want to make it harder, we're going to come all the way down onto our shoulders and start up in a kind of bridge hip thrust position with our hips fully extended. This is significantly harder. You're not going to want to go out as far with your feet. If you do this, it's much more strain on the hamstrings when the hips are extended. So you can kind of play with your position there. I'm definitely going to start on my elbows. Okay, so grabbing that heavy dumbbell, we're starting with the deadlift, and remember, we're gonna do 30 seconds of each. So 30 seconds on the left, 30 seconds on the right, and then 30 seconds for the walkouts. So grab that dumbbell. I'm putting all the weight again on my left side. Right side is my kickstand. I'm gonna keep my core engaged, sit the hips back, and then squeeze up, back, and up. Again, this is gonna be a pretty quick pace, not pausing at all in between reps, just going right into the next one. So we're constantly keeping tension on the hamstrings. 10 seconds to go. You're doing all the work with that left leg. 3, 2, 1. Switch and go right into the other side. Weights on my right leg, down and up. Soft knee. You shouldn't be feeling strain in your back here. Let your leg do all the work. Hips are staying nice and square. Finding that stretch every time in my right leg. And in 3, 2, 1, we're dropping the weight, coming back to our bench or couch on my elbows here. I'm gonna start in that 90-degree position and walk out and in with my feet. I'm alternating sides. So like I was saying before, you can see that my hips are not fully extended here. I'm kind of in a reclined position where my torso is a little bit upright. That makes it just a little bit easier. 3, 2, 1. Okay, shake it out. We have a 30-second rest before we do it all again for round 2. So some of these exercises might feel a little bit new. Make sure that you're prioritizing safety and you're feeling it all in the right area. This is all back of thigh. Gonna go ahead and grab my dumbbell and get set up again. I'm gonna start on my right foot this time just to mix it up. Here we go. Dropping down and up, keeping a soft knee, finding that hamstring stretch, and then squeezing myself up. Nice quick pace, no time for pausing, constant tension. And we've got 3, 2, 1, switch sides and right into it. All the weight's on that left leg now. We're just gonna keep that burn going, back of the left thigh. Keep those hips square, especially as we're getting a little more tired. Use your core to stay stable. 10 seconds to go. We've got those walkouts next. In 3, 2, 1, bring it back. Find your preferred position and then walk it out and in. I'm leaning back just a little bit more this time. I'm more onto my upper back, shoulders, making it a little harder for myself and just alternating which side I walk out with. The further out you step, the harder this is going to be as well. And in 3, 2, 1, we're resting. We've got 30 more seconds of rest and then we're doing our final hamstring exercise set. So one more round for the deadlifts and the walkouts and then we're done with hamstrings completely for the day. Okay, placing that weight back on my left leg this time. Let's do this. We're gonna drop down and up, soft knee, creating that tension, creating that burn. In 3, 2, 1, switch sides. Keep that burn going. All the weight's in my right leg. Nice, strong deadlift reps. Keep the back nice and long. Use your core to protect your low back. 10 seconds. And then go ahead and find that position on the bench. I'm going into the full version this time, going all the way back onto my shoulders and really trying to lift my hips up and extend them. Walking out and in, alternating sides. And in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Come on off of that bench. All right, we get a good rest before we go into our next superset. This one is going to be for the back. So we're gonna be working that mid-back area right between the shoulder blades, lots of squeezing back there. We're gonna start out with a top-down row. So hinging into a bent over position, we're gonna squeeze the elbows up, and that's our starting point. Shoulder blades squeezing together. Then we're gonna reach one dumbbell down at a time. The other one is staying up at all times. All right, you wanna make sure your hips are back and your core is engaged to protect your back here. Okay, then we're gonna drop our weights, most likely, unless you have light weights that you wanna use. We're gonna have that same hinge position. We're gonna reach forward and we're gonna squeeze up into a W position. So I'm really trying to open my palms up away from the floor, not just driving back with my elbows. So really lifting my palms and wrists and everything in that plane of movement. Okay, so I'm gonna grab my lighter weights. Getting into that hinge position, hips back, engage that core. We're gonna squeeze those dumbbells into our starting position, and then we're going with alternating arms. So drop and squeeze, drop and squeeze, drop and squeeze. No rest for the one that's not moving. It stays up the whole time. Keep your pace, keep squeezing those shoulder blades together every time you row. 10 seconds left. 3, 2, 1. All right, dropping the weights, and we're going into those W retractions. So reach and pull, opening up the palms, the wrists, and the elbows away from the floor, and continuing to squeeze those shoulder blades together. Again, nice quick pace, no rest at the bottom. Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. Keep your core nice and tight to protect your back. And in 3, 2, 1. All right, rest, shake those arms out. All right, so my low back was definitely bothering me a little bit with that hinging position for 2 exercises in a row. So if that is the case for you as well, for the W's, we're gonna come onto your knees and we're gonna just hinge forward slightly in this position. The more you hinge over, the more intense the exercise is gonna be, but the harder it is on your back. So you can always stay a little more upright. I'm gonna grab my weights, row those arms up. Here we go, top down rows, down and up, down and up. Alternating sides, but the other one is constantly staying up. Those shoulder blades are constantly squeezing together behind you like you're trying to pinch your sports bra. Ten seconds. 3, 2, 1. I'm gonna drop my weights and come down to my knees, and I'm squeezing into those W retractions. Again, you wanna move quick and you want a nice, powerful squeeze since we're not using any extra weight here. Whew, it's getting hard. My whole back is on fire. I'm coming a little more upright to give myself a little bit of a break. I have just a few seconds left. 3, 2, and 1. Shake it out. All right, we have just one more set for the back, and then guys, we are done with upper body completely. No more upper body movements at all. So with 10 seconds to go, I'm gonna grab my dumbbells. Find that hinge position, row the weights up. Let's do this. Drop and row, drop and row. Keep squeezing the shoulder blades. Let's do it. Ten seconds, make these last reps count. 3, 2, 1. Drop the weights. I'm coming back to my knees again, and I'm going right to those W retractions, trying to squeeze my whole arm away from the floor, continuing to keep the tension on my back. 15 seconds and we're done with arms. Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. Remember, you can come a little more upright or stay hinged for an extra challenge. 3, 2, 1. All right. Drop those arms, shake them out. Take a second to catch your breath. We have just one more superset to go. And for this one, we're working our glutes for our final set. Okay, so I'm gonna move my dumbbells out of the way. Grab some water. Take a little bit of time before we hit this last one because we want to hit it hard. We like to get a good glute burn. The glutes are so intricately related with what's happening in your pelvic floor and your core. Your glutes are so important for stabilizing you. We want to give them some love. So I'm going to be on my hands and knees. The first exercise is going to be a donkey kick circle. So hands and knees, and the goal here is to keep your torso pretty stable. I'm going to start with my left leg and do big circles, squeezing the glutes up and back as I circle around. Really pushing with my arms and using my core to stabilize so I'm not rocking my hips or wobbling around too much. It's really just that one leg that's doing big movements. Then I'm gonna lower all the way down to the floor, make a little diamond with my legs, keep my heels together, and squeeze my hips up. Okay, the goal here is not to arch the back, it's to squeeze from the glutes. That one is going to burn. All right, so coming up again, getting ready on our hands and knees. We're gonna do 30 seconds on each, starting with the left leg. Nice flat back, core engaged. Let's do this. Big hip circles, circling with the left side first. And really squeezing the whole leg back to work all angles of your glutes here. Keep pushing into the ground, stabilize your spine. Try not to arch your back. 3, 2, 1. Switch to the other leg. Same deal, big circles. Again, you can see that my back is rotating towards the screen a little bit, but we're trying to limit how much we're doing that. So don't move your whole back into the circle. Really try to keep it in the hip and the glute. 10 seconds left. 3, 2, 1. We're gonna drop all the way down onto our belly. Legs make a diamond shape, feet together, and we're squeezing up with the glutes, peeling those knees up and pushing our feet towards the ceiling. Small little pumping movement. Lift, lift, lift. Trying not to rest too long in between each rep. Lift, lift. These are hard. 3, 2, 1, rest. All right, so 30 seconds before we do it all again. Our glutes are gonna be really burning by the end of this. I'm again gonna switch which leg I do first. So this time I'm gonna go with the right leg first, just to mix things up. And with 10 seconds to go, I'm gonna come back onto my knees, flat back. 3, 2, 1. Let's do this. Big hip circles. Starting with my right leg, squeezing those legs back with the glutes. Trying to get as much movement in the hip as I can without moving the back too much. 10 seconds. Switch right to the other side. Same deal. Big circles. Side and back. Side and back. As much movement in the leg as you can get without moving the back. Keeping that tension, and 10 seconds to go before we come down onto our belly. 3, 2, 1. Drop it down to your belly. Make that diamond shape, heels together, squeeze, 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 squeeze. Remember, we're not doing this with our low back here. We're not doing a big arch in our back. We're really trying to just use the glutes to hyperextend the hips so you can pop those knees off even just for a second. 10 seconds left. Lift, lift, lift. Try not to slow that pace down. 3, 2, 1. Relax. Shake it out. 30 seconds. And we only have to do this one more time, and then our entire workout is done. And I know this was a hard one. We're feeling it. Okay, 10 seconds to go. Go ahead and find your tabletop position again. Last round, I'm going to start with the left leg. Here we go. Big hip circles, out and back. Keep pushing into the ground and really trying to stabilize with the core. Three, 2, 1. Switch sides. Other direction, same deal. Out and back. Big circles from the leg. Squeeze from the glute. Concentrate on where you want to feel it. And getting ready for our last set of reverse frog hypers down on our belly. Go ahead and drop it down. Make that diamond. Squeeze, 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 squeeze. Lifting those heels up towards the ceiling, keeping the knees wide. Doing all the work with those glutes. We have 10 seconds left in this workout, guys. Don't stop now. Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. Keep it up. In 3, 2, and 1. Release those legs. Take a moment. We did it. We're done with this workout. It is time to get a little bit of a stretch in. So because my glutes are on fire, I'm going to start right in a child's pose to give them a second to just lengthen and let go a little bit. So I'm going to have my knees and my feet close together. I'm going to rest my belly on my knees, and I'm going to take some deep breaths, allowing the side of my body and the back of my body to expand as I breathe in. Even feeling that breath all the way down to my pelvic floor. All right, coming up onto my knees. I'm going to clasp my hands behind me, open up the chest, open up the biceps. Just for a moment. Opening up the front of the shoulders. And then I'm going to come up, step forward with one leg, tuck my tailbone under so I find a stretch in the hip flexor. And I can add the same arm up overhead to increase a little bit of that stretch down my whole body. And switch sides. Other foot forward, tuck the tailbone under to find the stretch. If you do this right, you shouldn't really have to lean forward very much to find a stretch. You can stay pretty upright and find it just with that pelvic tuck. All right, I'm gonna bring one arm across my chest because we did do a lot of shoulder work today. So keeping my shoulder down away from my ear and finding a stretch more towards the back of the shoulder. And same thing on the other side, shoulder stays down, pulling across to find the stretch in the back of the shoulder. All right, I'm gonna bring it all the way down onto my belly again, pressing up onto my elbows for a little abdominal wall stretch. You can increase it by coming all the way up into a cobra, pushing onto my hands. That's optional, only if it feels good. You can squeeze your glutes gently if that helps to take some strain off your back. Come on down, grab one foot. We're gonna keep the knees close together, push the hips down into the mat so we get a nice stretch in the quads. Switch to the other side, same thing, grab the foot, keep the knees close together, and push the hips down into the mat. Okay, I'm gonna roll over onto my back. And we're gonna stretch out the hamstring with an active stretch. So grabbing the back of one thigh, I'm gonna keep the toe pointed, and I'm gonna squeeze the knee straight, engaging the quads a little bit to stretch out that hamstring. Release and squeeze, pausing that squeeze for just a couple seconds. 3 more. 2. And 1. Open the back of the leg. Then I'm going to cross that foot right over my other knee, loop my hands through and grab onto my opposite thigh. So I get a nice stretch in the glute and the piriformis, all those hip rotation muscles. All right, switching sides, grabbing the back of my other thigh. We're gonna squeeze the knee straight and release it 4 more times. And then cross it over the other knee. And loop the hands through. Take some more deep breaths, really bringing your nervous system back down. And we're gonna do our last full body stretch. So reaching the arms and legs out, taking up some space. Really relax the belly here and let the belly inflate like a beach ball in all directions every time you inhale. Big diaphragmatic breaths. You made it through this workout and our final workout of this series. Thank you. If you've gone through all 4 workouts with me, thank you so much for being here. I hope that you enjoyed them. And I hope that you got something out of them and are thinking about different ways that you can challenge yourself with intensity and with design of movement throughout the various stages of your cycle. So thank you again, and I will talk to you soon.